Welcome to the Success Sculpting Show with Stephen Pierce, bringing you the right information right now to sculpt a more meaningful and memorable life of success. Join us each week to discover gems to help you grow your mental toughness, expand your will to win, and multiply your results. It's never been easier to learn what to do and how to do it to succeed at what you choose to do.
This is truly an experience you won't find anywhere else.
Now, here's your host, the Success Sculptor himself, Stephen Pierce.
Hey, this is Stephen Pierce, and I want to welcome you to episode number 12 of the Success Sculpting Show with yours truly, Stephen Pierce. And today, what we are going to be talking about is how to be confident. How to be confident. We're going to look at 7 steps to building confidence. Now, we know that's important, right? Confidence is absolutely important. And you're listening to this because you know it's important. Listen, here's how I look at what I do, okay? And also a reason why confidence is important. And also a reason why you should become a Success Sculpting Insider. But look at it like this. Every single one of us, we have these particular journeys in life, right? And I want you to think about destinations. You can go anywhere it is you want to go. And being you here in the United States, you can go to different cities, to different states, to different counties. You can leave outside of the country and go to other countries and go to different areas within their countries, right? So the destinations, in which, by the way, when you get there, you can decide to go to a movie, you can go to eat, and then you can decide where you want to go to eat. So the destinations vary. And then we have these micro destinations when we get to the broader place. But also think about the multiple ways you have of getting there, right? You can go, if you're going overseas, you can go by plane or you can go by boat, right? Or if you're within a country, you can run, you can ride a bike, you can take a bicycle, you can drive a car, you can take a bus, you can drive a truck. You can even go by plane, private plane, small prop plane, or big commercial airliner, you name it. But what is the one thing they all have in common? Very diverse destinations and very diverse means of getting there. But the one thing they all require is fuel. And see, that's what I look at what I do. I don't tell you where to go, like what the destination should be, and I don't tell you what vehicle to use. For example, let's just say your destination is you want to become a multimillionaire. That's your destination. But your vehicle may be real estate. Your vehicle may be network marketing. Your vehicle may be a franchise, or it may be a mail order business or an internet business. That's your vehicle. But at the end of the day, if you don't have the fuel, you're never going to get anywhere. Every means of transportation, even if you're running, you need to have the physical fuel and energy in your body to be able to get there. And that's what I would look at the Success Sculpting Show, and especially the Success Sculpting Insiders, to be about. Not telling you where to go and not even telling you what vehicle to use to get there, but making sure you have the sustainable fuel to get there. And you want me to tell you something? If there's one ingredient and the fuel to being able to get to wherever it is you want to go, it's confidence. Not cockiness, not arrogance, but confidence. And we want to make sure we have that confidence. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. And if you want to be able to get continuous fuel, like daily emails, weekly ebooks of every show, a live streaming group coaching video stream once a month, then be sure to become an insider, because I would love to help to keep you all fueled up and keep your tank fueled to help you on that journey. So confidence. Let me tell you something. When it comes to confidence, there's one question that people hardly ever ask. In fact, in my conversations with different people about confidence, I haven't even heard one person talk about this one question as it relates to confidence. But I'm going to put that question out there for you because it's an important one, and I think it's a great place for us to start off from, okay? The question is simply this: where is my confidence vulnerable? See, here's the thing. We all automatically have confidence. And I believe it's not so much as the building up of our confidence all the time, as much as it is protecting it from being broken down. So the question is, where is my confidence vulnerable? And let me give you 3 different things to think about to kind of give you some perspective of this, okay? Is your confidence interdependent on circumstances and on places and on how things are going? In other words, is your confidence fluctuating based on what's going on in the environment. If things are really looking good and looking favorable for you, are you feeling more confident? If things are not looking so good, are you feeling less confident? In other words, is your confidence attached to and interdependent on these things that are pretty much out of your control? Because if it is, then guess what happens to your confidence? You're not controlling your confidence. The environment is controlling your confidence, right? It's like, is a boxer confident based on the stats of his opponent? Well, he hits a whole lot harder than the other guy, so I'm not so confident going in. I don't think so. So you want to look at that. Is your confidence interdependent on the circumstances, on the places, and on how things are actually going right now in your favor or not? Second question, as it relates to, is what is your confidence vulnerable to, or where is your confidence vulnerable? Is your confidence codependent on acknowledgement from other people? In other words, is your confidence basically on pause until you hear great praise, great accolades, kudos from other people? Is your confidence codependent on what other people are saying? So if somebody comes up and says, great job, you're feeling really good. If somebody comes up and say, that sucks, you're feeling really bad, right? Despite how you may feel about your performance, it doesn't even matter, because what somebody else is saying to you trumps what you are saying to yourself. And now what you may have been originally saying to yourself has now been overtaken and overthrown, if you will, by what other people have said to you. Now, the third thing is your confidence independent of being hostage to people, places, and things? In other words, your confidence is self-sufficient. You know that you have an impact on people and places and things, but you are confident regardless. You're confident regardless. Now, let's take this right here. And I want to take this to an area that I experienced big time in my life, and it could seem like they're in conflict with each other, but they're really not. And that's that confidence and fear can really coexist at the same time. And I know they seem to be, in conflict. How can you be afraid but yet be confident? And how can you be confident but yet still have fear? I'm going to explain that to you, okay? Think about this, for example. Athletic teams that take the field, or they take a court, or a boxer that goes into a ring. I remember Mike Tyson was talking about he was afraid of losing against the guy that was in the ring, but he was confident that he can beat him. You understand that? For example, for a long time, a very long time, I was always afraid to go speak in public. Going on stage in front of 25,000, 30,000 people a time in one speaking session. Being afraid to go up there is one thing, but being confident that I can deliver when I get up there is something completely different. For example, you can be in sales. You can be afraid of not closing the sale, but you can be confident that you can give a kick butt presentation. For example, a guy could be like, wow, you know what? I really need that money for this or that or whatever the case may be. And he's really afraid, of what could happen if he doesn't close that sale. Maybe he can lose his job or whatever. But he's really confident that he can go in there or she can go in there and give a kick butt presentation. So they can coexist. Now, the question is, which one is the dominant one? Because you can be afraid, but yet you're so confident, that's what you're focused on, and your confidence is the one that's ruling the moment. Or while you may be confident in your ability, confident in your performance, if fear is ruling, then fear is going to drag down your performance. So we have what I call the fear fryer, all right? The fear fryer basically states that the recipe to deep frying fear is to cook with confidence. Cook with confidence. In other words, a basketball player. Because if there's this saying, remember this saying, and it's still a popular one, act confidently. One way to build your confidence is to act with confidence, stand with confidence, breathe with confidence, and you can be confident. Well, you know what? To a certain extent, I believe with that. I agree with that. I combine two words. I believe that and I agree with that I believe with that. So that's a new word. Maybe you may want to write that one down. I believe with that. Anyway, I do agree with that to a certain extent. However, you can act confidently yet fail miserably. Now, how does that happen? See, acting confidently and yet ignorantly will ultimately mean that if you're ignorant of what to do, that means you're going to fail. Certainly you're going to certainly fail, but you're going to fail with a great deal of certainty as you're going about screwing things up. That basically means you can be confident, but if you're ignorant, you're going to fail because you don't know what you're doing and you don't know how to do it. You're going to fail with a great deal of certainty. I was so sure about myself as I certainly and surely screwed the whole thing up. It's like having no boxing skills and you're going to get into the ring with like a Floyd Mayweather or a Manny Pacquiao or something. You're confident because you're standing with confidence, you're breathing with confidence, and you're walking with confidence, and your shoulders are back, and your chest is out, and you got your little power sayings and all these different things, but you have zero skills going into the ring. You will confidently hit the deck. Pretty much, that's how it's going to work. Because we didn't build the skills, which, by the way, is one thing that will not create a false confidence. It creates a real confidence. This whole acting confident, I get that, but it can build and breed a false confidence and kind of blind you to some of the things that will build a real confidence. You know, because there's been a long time saying, I remember hearing the saying when I was really young, you know, the whole fake it till you make it. Well, I've reached a point in my life where it's kind of like you fake it till you can't take the faking anymore. Because, you know, the faking your confidence until you're really confident. Well, at what point in time did you start to build real confidence on a real foundation, right? You have a person that says, you know, I'm so nervous. I don't know what I'm going to say. Well, and that's interesting, by the way. You know, they say I'm so nervous, which means they're afraid, which is okay. And they don't really have a lot of confidence because they don't know what they're going to say. So they're nervous or they're fearful because they don't know what they're going to say. So that's hurting their confidence. But yet that statement contains the problem and the suggested solution. I want you to think about this. If the problem is you don't know what to say, what do you think the solution is? The solution is know what you're going to say. A lot of people, and I know this from working with a lot of different people that are like public speakers, they'll have fear of going up and speaking in public. In fact, you can have musicians that even to this day will throw up before they go on stage because of the level of nervousness that they experience before they go in front of the crowd. And you have speakers that still get nervous. Not that they haven't been speaking for a long time, but it's just, you know, a part of their nervous system and the way we respond. However, when you can tap into the confidence in the case of knowing what to say, or the confidence of being prepared, like your presentation is prepared. So it doesn't matter if it's a one-on-one presentation or if it's a one-to-many presentation, you know what it is you're going to say. You're prepared. So you're able to tap into that confidence of preparation as opposed to, oh my gosh, let me get these images together on my head. Let me fake, let me breathe deeply. Let me put my chest out. But you still don't know what you're going to say. So you can be up there standing and looking confident, but yet silent because you still don't know what to say. So what I'm saying is we want to strike a balance between this having an aura or an air of confidence, and then that's based on body manipulation, and then being intelligent, not ignorant, and having a confidence that's built on skills, not superficial things. It's like we really know what to do. We really know what to say. So we can really sink our teeth into something that can give us the real confidence. Now, what happens when a person has a breakdown of confidence when they really know what to do and they know what to say? Like, for example, public speakers. They have their presentation down. They know what to say. They've done it many times. And when they think about the presentation, they're confident. Yeah, I know what to say. I know what to do. But they're more afraid because they're thinking of people judging them. They're thinking of people rejecting them. They're thinking, let's say they go on stage and they sell products. They're already thinking about, oh my gosh, what if people don't buy the product? Or what if enough people don't buy the product? And they start to put these unnecessary pressures on themselves. They put their own self into a platform pressure cooker, as I call it. That platform pressure cooker is when you're going on stage to do any kind of presentation. And that stage can be in front of the classroom to give your speech to a class in college or high school. It can be in front of the room to give a presentation to your team for a company you work for, or a presentation one-on-one to your boss or to a client. Or it can be on a stage in an arena where you're speaking to thousands, tens of thousands of people. It doesn't matter what the platform is, but we create the pressure cooker when we start to think about people judging us. Here's the thing. They are going to judge you. They're going to, especially if they don't know who you are and they've never seen you before, they're going to be sizing you up, trying to evaluate who you are and come to some kind of at least short-term conclusion in judgment of you as a person based on how you're carrying yourself when you're on stage, what you're saying. But that you can't control people judging you. So why are we going to go ahead and focus on people judging us when we go into a stage? You can't control people's actions. I remember when I used to speak at Get Motivated, I was new to that place, to that platform. Now, previously, for years, I had spoken around the world to places where people knew me. But when I went and started to speak on that stage, in that arena, they didn't know who I was. And being the new guy on the block, I would get the last slot. And the last slot would be before some of the main speakers. And you know what would happen? I remember the very first time I went out there and I looked, I was like, wow, there's a lot of people here. Maybe it's like 25,000 people. I was like, man, this is a lot of people. But I was the last speaker that was going up. And then I would go up like at 5:30. Now my spot got shifted later on as I pretty much proved and demonstrated that I knew what I was doing. But early on, not so. I remember I went on stage, the very first event, it was in Florida. I remember I went on stage, and there was a ton of people in there, but as I went on stage, and Kari Michelson, who does the MCing, she was doing the MCing at the time, she was introducing me. People were walking out and they were leaving. I'm saying to myself, well, wait. I'm watching like, it's not over. Where are they going? Well, like the headlining speaker had just finished speaking, and I was like the cleanup guy after him, and people were leaving. And then I walk on stage, and it was almost like a mass exodus of people leaving. And I'm like, it's like maybe they got to go pick up kids or whatever, but I was shell shocked. But you know what? I kept on speaking as if everybody was still in their chair. You need to be able to go to that place of confidence. And when I say a mass exodus, I mean, it was a mass exodus. I mean, it was almost as if no one was on the stage. Now, I couldn't take that personally because they didn't know me for me to take that personally. So how can I take that as a negative judgment against me? They didn't know me. Now, I could have went deeper and be like, and they're not even interested in knowing me. I could have gone in all kinds of ways like that. But let me tell you something. It didn't end with that event. For almost a year, I had that spot, and people would leave. But yet, I would get people to be like, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe all the different people that were leaving out. They should have moved you up. You were the best one out of everybody. I needed to hear what you had to say. Now, I felt good about that, but I still had to make sure that my confidence was not based on what was going on in the environment. Remember, we talked about, where is your confidence vulnerable? Is it interdependent on the circumstances and the places and how things are going? See, if my confidence was going to be based on the environment, I would have had a meltdown and probably spontaneously combusted on stage due to lack of confidence because of the mass exodus of people, because I could have looked at that as a mass rejection. But you want me to tell you something? It really helped me to focus in on the people that remained, the people that were still there, the people that were having fun. And even though so many people left, I still had loud applause. I still had loud participation. And the people that were there, I looked at them as they're the ones that really want to get the maximum from being here at this event. And then I would still do well in terms of what my level of performance would be. But my performance would be up and down at times. But was I going to allow my confidence to impact the next time I was going to go out and speak? I could have, because you get feedback from people that you're working with. And if they're not too happy about something, you have to, well, that can drag you down and you'd be disappointed. It's like basketball players. Sometimes they can go into a shooting slump. And nobody's going to be happy about that. Management's not going to be happy. The coach is not going to be happy, or the coaching staff, or maybe even some of the fellow players. But what are they going to do? Make it worse and go into a slump? That's now allowing two different things to impact them. They're allowing the circumstances, like how things are going in terms of their shooting, in terms of basketball, or you can pick whatever sport you want. It could be shooting and hockey or whatever, okay? And now they're allowing the acknowledgement, the negative acknowledgement of the people around them to bring down their confidence. So now it's stacked. And I'm sharing this with you because it's very important. We need to know where is our confidence vulnerable so we can protect that, because think about you're trying to build your confidence, and hopefully you're going to get it when I give you this, metaphorically speaking, okay? You're trying to build your confidence, but you have these leaks in your confident bucket. Let's just say you had a bucket that you were looking to fill up with water, but you had holes going around the bottom of the bucket, and the holes were 1 inch apart. And let's just say they were 1/4 inch size holes and they were all 1 inch apart. The bottom of the bucket is pretty much shredded, right? So it doesn't matter how much water you keep on putting into the top of the bucket for the most part is going to remain empty. Now, what does that mean? That means no matter how many different things you try to do to build your confidence, if you're not looking at where your confidence is vulnerable, those leaks in your confidence bucket, you're going to be on this tireless, absolutely nonstop, exhausting wheel like a mouse trying to get your confidence up. So I understand the things to do to build your confidence, and I get that. But one thing that we need to make sure that we are taking care of while we're looking at how do we build our confidence is understanding how does our confidence start to leak out of us. And those are some of the things. And by the way, there's going to always be something that tries to whack your confidence. Remember that. That's why we want to make sure that we guard our confidence, all right? We want to make sure that we guard it. So I believe one of the first steps to confidence, and I'm going to give you 7 steps to building your confidence, which are pretty simple that you can keep with you every day, at least keep in mind every day. But I believe one of the first steps to confidence is being conscious of your capabilities, right? This means know what to do and how to do it, because that's not going to build a false confidence. See, a baseball player is confident they can hit that ball coming across the plate over 100 miles an hour because they have built up the capabilities to swing that bat at balls coming across that plate at that speed. But if you've never done that before, what do you think is going to happen to your confidence? You take any athletic game, the confidence of the player is based on what? Listen, you don't build confidence in your shot during the game. You build it during practice. A basketball player is confident in their shot because of what they've done in practice. What are you doing in practice? Some people want to be public speakers, but they don't practice speaking. They don't practice. What are you doing to build the skills and capabilities? And that's the thing that's beautiful about, well, at least the one thing that's beautiful about skills and capabilities, that they're all buildable. If you're seeing somebody do something, it takes a certain skill to do it. You can acquire the skill. I mean, there's a whole lot of different things that I'm getting into for fun and diversity. Now, there's the core things, but for example, I want to get into gardening. Now, you're probably thinking about what kind of muscle garden? What are you going to do? Raise protein? Well, actually, yes, because beans and different things like that can give you protein. You can have bean garden. So, yes, it's going to be a protein garden. A creatine garden, not so. But I'm going to get into that in ham radios, which is going to be very important, which is I got interested into it because it's like if there's some type of communications breakdown in this country and you're not able to use your cell phone, you're not able to use your telephone and traditional means of communication, there are other ways to be able to communicate. So I decided, you know what, I'll start going into that to have some fun, and it will also become a backup communications plan. And there's other things that I've gotten into that I've had no skills in and I had no capabilities, but I've been studying, I've been learning to build up those capabilities. If you had to go live off the land, for example, let's just say this country is thrown back into the Stone Age, what level of capabilities do you have to be able to do that? Now, of course, you're going to be forced to start building some on the fly, but you're not going to be too confident initially because, wow, you've never built shelter before, you haven't built fire before, you haven't gone out there and eaten off of the land, or you had nothing in storage, you never purified water before. So your confidence is not going to be too high. So one of the things to do is look at what kind of capabilities and skills you're going to need now, and then what kind of capabilities and skills which you need possibly in the future that you want to build up in yourself and in your family or in your inner circle So you're prepared for certain things. So I really believe that one of the first steps to being confident is building up your capabilities. Not so you don't have this empty, hollow, false sense of confidence. It's like, okay, I'm feeling really good, but what now? that means that you manipulated everything about you physically to feel confident, but you have this powerful feeling of confidence, but there's no skills to put it behind so you can execute confidently. All right? Now, I believe that you can take that manipulation of physical confidence and emotional confidence and take that to learn things confidently, because some people, they lack confidence in learning. Oh my gosh, this is so difficult. Oh, well, it's not difficult. I like to tell people it's not hard, it's just new. And that right there is just the manipulation of the perspective, because if we think it's difficult, that can hinder how we approach learning it. But if we're like, this is just new, and we love new stuff, we love new games, we love new movies, we love new clothes, we love new food, and we know that new is good, then we can approach the whole learning experience differently, especially at a different level of joy, happiness, and confidence. All right? So if you need to learn new skills and build your capabilities, but you feel as if it's hard, let's change it from hard to no, it's not hard, it's just new. And then pump up your confidence that you can learn it. And then you can learn with confidence and then carry that confidence into your capabilities. And then you can execute confidently with real confidence because you've built up certain skills. A war force is confident in their ability to go to war and to do battle, not just based on their plan, but based on their capabilities, on the soldiers, on their military technology and their equipment, etc. Right? Selecting a target. Are you sure that's the target? Yes, we're sure that's the target. We're confident that's the target because what? They've used all this technology to see it. Right? So we don't want to have this hollow confidence. We want to have a real confidence. So what do? There's 7 steps to building a commanding confidence. One of the first things you want to do is what I call mental self-defense. Defend your mind. Mental self-defense. What are the things that weigh you down? They can weigh you down emotionally, mentally, physically, socially, whatever. What are some of the things that weigh you down? For example, addictions. Do you have certain addictions that weigh you down? Addictions to food, addictions to television, addictions to gossip, addictions to things that don't serve you. And because they're not serving you, they're sabotaging you and weighing you down. Okay? And you know they weigh you down mentally. What about anger? Is anger weighing you down? Because, you can go into a blind fury and that can just distort everything in the environment. I know, but I've been there. Okay? What about hopelessness? That's a big weight on people's shoulders. Heck, that's not just a weight on their shoulders. That's a weight on their entire being. If you're in a place of hopelessness, you feel as if you're at the end of your rope and there's nothing left. And I know, because I've been there also. What about resentment? Is that weighing you down? What about self-pity? Is that weighing you down? Confusion, is that weighing you down? And sometimes confusion isn't you don't know what to do. Confusion can come from conflicting priorities. For example, you want to lose weight but eat big chocolate cakes and carrot cakes, and I love carrot cakes, by the way, and cheesecakes. Or you want to build a business, but you want to watch all this television or play all these video games. So a conflicting set of priorities can start to create confusion in any given moment on what to do, because there's what you have conditioned yourself to do in terms of, oh, well, I always play these video games, or I always watch television, or I always eat like this, compared to what you're compelled to do, which is, I really want to get in shape, or I really want to build this business. So what's in conflict is what you've conditioned yourself to do and what you're compelled to do based on choices. And that can create some confusion. So don't think confusion is always like, well, I'm confused. These instructions don't make sense. Well, that can happen also. Trust me, when I got one of my ham radios, it was a really good radio. I looked at the instructions. I was like, huh? Right? So, it's like, and I remember when I was setting up my whole podcast thing, because I had never set up all this stuff before. And not like this. I had an old thing, but not like this one. And then I'm using a Mac, and I'm using this new Mac software. And while I see it and I get it in theory, some of the instructions were rather confusing. So I had to step back, slow down. And then I went and actually got some instructions. I got a mentor to help me make sure I had all the different things set up the right way and working the right way. So But you know what? It was weighing me down initially because I was confused about the different elements and pushed through. And now you're listening to episode number 12. There's another combined word. That's like in between 11 and 12, right? So 1130 is called 12, right? Because it's not 11 and it's not 12. It's in between. What in the world is going on? I'm making up these words. But anyway, you're listening to episode 12. But what about doubt? Does that weigh you down? Now, the reason why we want to know what are the different things that weigh us down is because we want to go on the defensive. We want to defend ourselves from these things. That's what I mean by mental self-defense. Understanding these things that attack your mind, and we've done previous episodes that get into this more specifically. So I highly recommend, if you haven't listened to any of the previous episodes of the show, you go back to some of those episodes because we deal a lot more deeply with some of these issues. Okay, now the first thing is mental self-defense. The second thing is a no-huddle offense. I know that's a sports reference in football, but what this means is rapidly taking action to move your life forward and doing it in a way by focusing on what lifts you up. Okay, because sometimes we can delay and procrastinate because of the things that are weighing us down. And we're focused on those things that weigh us down. Like if you're doubtful that something is going to work, how fast are you going to be to take action on it? Not too fast at all, if any action at all. So with a no huddle offense, think in terms of caring. Who do you care about? Who do you care about that makes taking action meaningful? Because you know they're going to be impacted by this. Humor. What are some of the things that make you laugh? That can keep you chuckling and laughing along the way, happily moving forward. Because what we will be more lifted up if we're laughing, right? As opposed to if we're crying, right? We'll be more lifted up if we're focused on who we care about. That's going to be impacted positively by what it is we're doing, as opposed to focusing on the doubtfulness of anything working out for us. Also, purpose. What drives you in life? What is your reason for being? Your own identified purpose. Not a purpose that somebody is trying to hand off to you like a football, but the purpose that you have identified from your gut, from the nucleus of your own heart. What have you identified as your life purpose that drives you? That will lift you up, wouldn't it? So a no-huddle offense is thinking about that. This is my purpose. So you're able to rip through any resentment or hopelessness or self-pity or confusion or doubt or anything that would try to weigh you down because you're driven by this purpose in life. What about generosity? Who do you like to give to? Who would you like to give to that makes moving forward meaningful for you? It's like, you know what? I really need to do this. So now you have this whole huddle offense, like you're taking rapid action, because you want to be able to give more to your church or more to these foundations or Habitat for Humanity, or you want to clothe people that don't have much clothes, or help feed people that are hungry, to help world hunger, or you want to stand up against a new world order, so you're contributing to organizations that are doing that, or you want to help breast cancer research, you name it. Who do you want to give to? Allow generosity. Well, first of all, if you love to give, and I know I love to give, it really lifts your spirit. It lifts you up. It takes you to a more bountiful, happy place. And it is a place of abundance. It may not be a place of financial abundance, as if you hit the lotto in the sense of a physical, tangible money sense, but there is a sense of happiness that even money can't give you when you have that there seems to be that thread of generosity that is woven in your makeup, and you feel good when you give to other people. So keep thinking about that. Think about who you're going to be able to give to, who you're going to be able to help by moving forward. Also, and this almost seems like it's a polar opposite of these, but it's really along the same lines. Detachments. Because we're not attached to any particular thing, so we're freed up to move forward. In other words, you're not attached to, oh my gosh, what are people going to think about me doing this? What are people going to think about me if this doesn't work? What are people going to think? What are people going to say? Right? Or, oh my gosh, I don't want to lose this. You don't want to lose this time. Or you don't want to lose this money. You don't want to lose this identity. You don't want to lose these relationships. So those are attachments. attachments that will prevent you from doing certain things. So you're not going to take action because of this huge fear of loss of all these different things, or this huge thing of what other people think or what other people say. But guess what happens when you're detached? And I gave this to you as an example in one of the earlier episodes. When an athlete is, for example, a basketball player is under quote unquote pressure because he or she is holding the game-winning shot, the worst thing they can do is feel the pressure and be attached to the next shot. And by feeling the pressure and being attached to the next shot, what I mean is, oh my gosh, this shot has to go in. Oh my goodness, millions of people around the world are watching this right now live on television. I have got to make this shot. Listen, my basketball legacy is hanging in the balance. Wait a second, I'm who I am. I'm supposed to be the guy that hits the game-winning shot. That's because that's who I am. I have to make this shot, or they're going to rake me across the coals on Sports Center or in the sports section of the newspapers, offline and online. I'm going to let the coach down, the team down. Oh my gosh, my opponents are going to be laughing in my face. They're not going to think I'm as great as I hold myself out to be. This is going to be a strike against me. All these different thoughts can run through their head. What do you think is going to happen to their performance and their confidence if that is what they're constantly thinking about as they're dribbling the ball, approaching the basket? It's not going to be too good. It's not going to be, there's too many attachments. There's too many attachments, and that level of stress will impede their performance. I don't care how good you are. If you are stressed, that is going to get into your nervous system, and it is going to hinder your physical performance no matter how well trained you are. It does not matter. So the key to having a peak performance in what could seem to be a pressure cooker is to not attach to everything that is on the line and the importance of the moment in the shot, but to detach from it and do what it's just another shot. It's just another shot. Can you make a shot? Absolutely. It's just another shot. And instead of thinking about the pressure and that the shot has to go in, you can run through your mind what makes your perfect shot. Keep the elbows in, keep the fingers spread, follow through with the wrists. So now you're focusing on coaching yourself, self-coaching through just another shot. And you let everything else take care of itself. Because you're not going to do yourself any favors allowing yourself to become stressed under the pressure of the moment. So detachment. Now I tell you all that to say that being detached can help you with your no-huddle offense to take rapid action because you're not caring too much about what you stand to lose in the sense of, oh my gosh, I don't want to lose this all. What are they going to think? And all this other kind of stuff. So that's number two. Number one, what? Mental self-defense. Number two, have a no-huddle offense. That means taking rapid action to move your life forward, focusing on what lifts you up. All right. And by the way, again, you can get these notes from the Success Sculpting Show blog. Just go to successsculptingshow.com. And these will be on the site for the show notes for today's episode. So go to successsculptingshow.com. All right, now number three, the past tense tension, letting the past be the past. We want to know what is it that blocks us from our past. For example, complaining about certain things in our past. Those can create blocks. And by complaining about things in your past, what I mean is disagreeing with what was that has created what is, right? Let me say that again. Complaining today about your past is an act of disagreeing with what was that has created what is. And that creates a block. That's a block from your past that we've dragged into the present moment. And that creates tension in the moment. That's what I mean by past tense tension. We want to take care of that. Another thing is blaming. Blaming yourself, blaming your past, blaming your parents, blaming your partner, or blaming whomever or whatever. We want to get rid of that. That becomes a block. Controlling, trying to control the uncontrollable, like trying to control your past or trying to control other people or other people from your past. Okay? Or other people that should be still in your past. And we drag them as dire memories of the past into our present life. So you want to look at that. Is that a block? What about arguing? Arguing with the past. Arguing with people that should be in your past and should have remained in your past. Arguing with people in the present about your past. arguing about anything. But it's one thing to have debates and arguments that are healthy to move things forward. It's another thing that had to have arguments that are anchors to your past, because that's not really moving anything forward. You are wasting time because the hands of time are not going to go on pause while you have this argument that's anchoring you to your past. So we want to let that go. All right. So just understand, I'm not talking about healthy, respectful arguments and debates to flush out ideas and paths and plans to move things productively forward. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about arguments that take place about your past that are just keeping you anchored to your past and a slave to your past. And there is nothing productive to come from it. So we have to be the evaluators of that. And not just the evaluators of it, but the dictators in the moment to say, we're not going to do this. All right. And I do mean a dictator. Here's the thing. When it comes to your past, you don't need to look for agreement from people to not have to discuss or argue it. Be a dictator and be like, we're not going to discuss this because the past is the past. There is absolutely nothing that we're going to get from this. And I'm not talking about avoiding lessons learned, because that is considered automatic. I'm just talking about a revisiting of the past for whatever unproductive reasons there may be. And for many people, sometimes they try to use your past to hold you hostage. They try to use what has been done in your past as guilt to control you. So it is in those cases that I'm talking about. You do not want to go there. In terms of looking at the past to evaluate, to extract nuggets, to learn lessons on what's worked, what hasn't worked, what to do, continue to do more of, what to do less of, what to add, what to subtract. In other words, all the multiplication from the past. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm strictly talking about when your past is being used as a Louisville Slugger bat to beat the crap out of you. Those are times that you do not want to go to your past. And then, yes, you become a dictator and be like, we are not going to do this. And for the people that insist on doing it, they should instantly become a part of your past and no longer a part of your present, and certainly no longer a part of your future. All right. Also, what about externalizing? And by externalizing, what I mean is feeling like a victim of your past or present circumstances. That means it has nothing to do with you and it has everything to do with what has happened on the outside of you in the past and today. Those become blocks. All that stuff, the complaining, the blaming, the controlling, the arguing, the externalizing, and all kinds of other stuff that we can do in terms of creating a huge list. These are just to help get you thinking. They become blocks. And guess what? It blocks your confidence. Do you think that you're going to have a great deal of confidence today and moving forward if you're constantly complaining about your past and blaming people about certain stuff and trying to control the uncontrollables and constantly arguing about things and feeling like a victim of circumstances? Where do you think your confidence is going to be? It's not going to be present and accounted for. If you were to do a roll call and be breathing here, blood flow here, right? Heart pumping here. When you call for confidence, it's not going to say here. It's gone. You wipe it out. Okay? There's a lot of things that can be present and confidence won't be there. All right? So the first 3 steps to building commanding confidence is mental self-defense, your no-huddle offense, which is taking rapid action to move your life forward, and past tense tension, letting the past be the past, getting beyond those blocks that are associated with your past. And the 4th thing is managing the suspense. Managing the suspense. That means managing your moves and emotional fears and uncertainties. Because if you're moving your life forward and you're going into a place that you haven't been before, are there going to be a lot of unknowns? Yeah, mostly all of it is going to be unknown. But how are we going to look at that? Are we going to allow these unknown factors to create fears and uncertainty? Or should I say magnify the uncertainty? Because I think to a certain extent, when there's a bunch of unknowns, there's going to be uncertainty. But do we magnify it or do we minify it? Yes, I'm going to use that word. Okay, so what do? Well, here's the thing. You want to dig a trench into your purpose. You want to create a beachhead on your mission and focus on that. Because that right there will allow you to, one, have the fuel to continue to move forward despite the fear you may feel and despite the uncertainty that may be present. Because the fear is real, the uncertainty is real, but it's only as real and as big as we allow it to be. But what we can know that's also real and that can become bigger than the fear and uncertainty is what our purpose and our mission is. And if we dig a trench in that purpose and we're really connected to it and we build a beachhead on that mission that we're constantly resorting to, it becomes a whole lot easier to not try to wait for the fear to disappear or the uncertainty to disappear. It makes it much easier to move forward regardless of the fears and regardless of the uncertainty. So one way to do that is to create statements. And these statements are linked to your purpose and they're linked to your mission. And I'll give you some as starters, okay? So you would say, I'm doing this because I want, and then you complete the sentence. I'm doing this because I want, for example, I'm doing this because I want to inspire people to lose weight and be healthier. I'm doing this because I want to inspire people to overcome diabetes or to be healthy while a diabetic. I'm doing this because I want people to thrive in life while having cancer. Okay, you want to inspire people to thrive in life while having cancer. So guess what that does? It really sets in front of you why the fear and the uncertainty is not that important, because there's something that's more important than the fear. It's more important than the uncertainty. It's these people that are important to you that you want to reach. It's your purpose. It is your mission. For example, I'm doing this because I want to create new ways of what? New ways of communicating. Don't you think that there are companies out there that had a great deal of uncertainty as they were piling tons of cash, hundreds of millions of dollars in cash into new technologies and new ways of communicating, that they could have just gave up, but they didn't, because I can see them as a company when they had these failures behind their boardroom doors and their laboratories and in their R&D departments. I can see them saying, listen, we are going to continue to go forward. We are doing this because we want to create these new ways of communicating, right? I can see that happening in a lot of different companies. Also, I'm doing this because I want to understand. This could be a great one for learning. I'm doing this because I want to understand how to what? Use computers, how to do gardening, right? How to whatever it is. That is your learning purpose statement. The reason you're going through these books, the reason you're learning how to speed read. For example, you're taking a speed reading course because there's a lot more reading material that you want to get through a whole lot faster with a great deal of comprehension. So I'm taking this speed reading course because I want to understand, and this becomes a link to understand it because you can learn more of that information faster, right? I'm doing this because I want to help implement maybe a new marketing strategy in your company. Maybe you're working for a company and there's this social media training that you're doing. And it's like, I'm doing this because I want to help implement social media strategies within our company so we become socially relevant. Are you seeing what we're doing? Now, any fears and uncertainty that you may have about that path of learning become minimum. You pretty much start to drown them out. Your purpose and your mission screams louder than any fears or uncertainties. But one reason why most people's fears and uncertainties scream louder is because they haven't attached to their purpose and they don't really know what it is. It's just do stuff. It's to make money. They haven't attached to what the real mission is. And if they have an idea, they haven't written it and articulated it and continue to go back to it in those moments where the fear tries to rush in like a flood or the uncertainty like a tsunami. What do you go to help you to basically, part those seas, if you will, so that you can march through them regardless of how big the waves of fear and uncertainty may be, right? I'm doing this because I want to do the most good to these groups of people or for these people. I'm doing this because I want to discover new ways to create running shoes, right? Think about it. I'm doing this because I want to solve problems for, who do you want to solve problems for? I'm doing this because I want to unravel life's mysteries around the Giza pyramids or whatever. Or the mysterious monuments around the world, you name it. I'm doing this because I want to build, organize, and plan whatever it is, a new business, a new health and fitness routine, a health and fitness business, right? Or your family, or church, or outreach, or missionary, or foundation, you name it. I'm doing this because I want to be a master of marketing, a master of communication, a master of negotiation, a master of sales. See, for example, I want you to take two different individuals that want to make money selling. So they go to a selling workshop or retreat or course or whatever, okay? And there's two different levels of confidence and motivation and forward progress. One person, they're taking the course because they want to make more money in sales. Okay? They want to make more money in sales. The other person is taking the course because they want to become a master of sales. Which one of them do you think seems to have a greater sense of purpose? Something that is, see, think about this. A person taking a sales course to make more money doesn't mean they've mastered anything. The person that's taken the course because they want to become a master of sales automatically has taken into consideration they will be making more money. So they shot for something that is higher and bigger than the money. See, because mastery and level of expertise will get them more money. Who do you think is paid more, the generalist or the specialist? The specialist. So if a person's specialty is they have mastered sales, they're going to make more money regardless. They're going to sell more of lower price items, or they're going to sell more higher price items. Either way, they're going to be cranking in more cash. So they shot above the cash. They shot towards mastery because they knew the master skills, having those, will automatically make them a big earner. The other person, they just want to make more money. So do you think that they're going to go for a level of mastery, looking to understand everything? They're going to have the depth of practice? No. Because if you think about three dimensions, latitude, longitude, and height, this person, in terms of they want to make more money, you know, it's kind of like, it's like one of the three dimensions. It's not even two of the dimensions, right? But if you think about the person that wants to become the master, you think of latitude and longitude, and you think about height, or you think about, you know, breadth and width and height, however you want to look at the dimensions. They're talking about getting deep into the studies, having a broad understanding of sales, and being able to take that to its highest level, right? So you're talking about they have committed themselves that I am going to go deep and understand even the nucleus of sales, and I'm going to have a broad understanding of it, not just a deep understanding, but a broad understanding of sales. And that means they're going to understand how to open, they're going to understand how to close, they're going to understand how to negotiate, they're going to understand everything, right? And that's going to take them to a new height of skill level and mastery. So I kind of stuck on that one to kind of give you an example of the differences and why we want to have these purpose and mission statements clearly articulated, all right? So the first four is mental self-defense, no huddle offense, past tense tension, and manage the suspension. And number 5 is know the expense. Know the expense. What does that mean? What does the lack of confidence cost you today, and what will it cost you going forward? Many people don't consider, what is my lack of confidence costing me? So you want to know the expense of lack of confidence. You want to know the expense of having low to little confidence. What is it costing you today? What is it costing you going forward? What is it costing you in terms of abundance and prosperity, right? What is it costing you in terms of purpose, right? What is it costing you in terms of, I mean, we were just talking about purpose. Now, if you don't have confidence, are you going to ever inspire people or create new ways of doing something or help implement new things or discover new things or solve problems? Huh? How is that going to be possible? So that's going to definitely cost you, right? Well, what about authenticity? If you're not living your life fully confident, how are you being authentically you? There's no possible way that if you're not being your confident self, that you can be your true authentic self. What about growth? What is it costing you in terms of growing? Well, if you're not confident, are you going to travel? Are you going to explore new things? Are you going to take on new challenges? And it's only amongst those new challenges and dealing with adversity that we really grow anyway. So you're going to become stagnant when it comes to growing. What about a life of excellence? What about a life of leadership? What about great health? There's a lot of different things that we can stand to lose at the expense of low and lack of and little confidence. So I want you to think in terms of what is the expense of confidence? Because here's the thing, confidence is going to cost you. It's going to cost you to be confident. It's going to cost you to not have confidence. But most people never consider what their lack of confidence is costing them. And I want you to know the expense. Know the cost of lack of confidence. Know the cost today. Know the cost of what it's going to be like going forward. Let me ask you something. Let's just say, obviously you're listening to this because you would like to boost your confidence. Wherever your confidence level is right now, whatever low level you may feel it's at, I want you to consider what has that cost you up to this point in your life. Then ask yourself, are you fine with that cost being magnified forward into your future? Will you be fine with that? Will you be fine with whatever it is you have robbed yourself, robbed your life, robbed your family, robbed your future, robbed your legacy of because of the lack of confidence up to this point in your life? Are you fine with further pillaging your own future and destiny by continuing to go through life with this lack of confidence? Knowing that everything that you have been stripped of because of a lack of confidence up to this point will be magnified going forward into your future. Are you fine with that? That's what I mean. I hope you're not, but that's what I mean by understanding the cost today as well as what is it going to cost you going forward. All right. And number 6 is have a future sense. That means lean into your future, not into your past. We already talked about the past, but have a theme that's pulling you forward into your future. Not just a goal, have a theme. We all have goals, but we don't have too many themes attached to those goals that we can rally around. Maybe you may have an adventure theme, and that whole adventure can be you're looking to perform very well in your business or on your job, or let's just say you're in sales, since I was using as an example. You're looking to excel in sales because you have this great adventure that you want to finance for you and your family or perhaps your closest friends. So your theme going forward can be an adventure theme, or maybe it's a spiritual growth theme. You want to go to Jerusalem. You want to go to Israel. You want to go to some place. You want to go to the Holy Land. So you have this Holy Land or spiritual growth type of theme. All right. Or maybe there's a travel thing. There's multiple countries you want to go to and sample different foods from different cultures. I've done that. That's a great deal of fun. Great deal of fun. You will require some confidence to eat some of this stuff in different places. So you definitely want to travel with confidence. Now, one of the things I've had for a while was called a treasure hunter. And it was me constantly looking for the treasure in myself as well as in others. But in addition to knowing that I'm looking for the best in myself and the treasure in myself and the treasure in others, it automatically built in the fact that there will be great challenges on the journey, because treasure hunters, hey, listen, like if you're going to do gold mining, and I think I mentioned this in a previous episode, shifting through rocks is automatic, right? You're a gold miner. You're not a rock shifter, but shifting through the different rocks is an automatic part of the process. So anybody that knows they're going to be a gold miner, or they're going to go panning for gold, they're not going to be talking about the mud, the dirty water, the rocks, because being a gold miner has automatically taken that into consideration. So being a treasure hunter has automatically taken into consideration the hunt. The hunt automatically means you are looking through the stuff that is irrelevant and meaningless to get to the stuff that is relevant and meaningful. So you don't complain about the irrelevancy of things that show up and that seem to be in the way. It's like, that's par for the course. Like a golfer doesn't complain about the sand traps. They're going to be there. They don't complain about the water. It's going to be there, right? They don't be like, hey, what we got this sand stuff around and this water stuff? Just give me all greens. That's not going to happen, right? That's not what a golf course. That's not how a golf course is made. Go make your own golf course. Right? But then you go get on a real golf course, it's going to be different experience, right? Now, and number 7, condense the course. Okay. Now, quick recap of the first 6 is mental self-defense, your no-huddle offense, your past tense tension, managing the suspense, know the expense, have a future sense, and then condense the course. Yes, they all rhyme with confidence. I'm glad you picked that up. Have what you want to do is condense the course. This basically means you want to reduce the big picture dreams and goals into short-term, doable action steps. That's what I mean by condense the course. You have this big place that you want to go to. You're confident that you can get there. At least you're starting to feel more confident you can get there as you build your skills and you do some of these things we've talked about here. Which, by the way, I'm going to give you 5 ways to strengthen your self-confidence every day. I'm going to go through those real quickly here until we can wrap up. After we talk about number 7, which is condense the course. Well, you want to reduce this big picture dream you have and these big picture goals you have into short-term, doable daily action steps. In other words, what can be done now that moves you forward towards that dream, towards that goal? What can you do now that is relevant, that is meaningful, that when you do it, it will have an impact towards that dream, towards that goal? What can be done next in terms of like next actions, next items that are relevant? See, here's the thing. What can be done now? You can turn on the television now. You can go play video games now. But the filter is what can be done now or what can be done next that impacts and moves you closer towards that goal or dream you have. That's the filter. What's your next action item? Hey, you can go take a nap. But how does that fit? You can go complain. How's that going to move you closer? You can go argue. How's that going to move you closer? So it's very important that you have that filter. What is the next action? If somebody's starting to argue with you, it's like, this is not going to take me closer to where it is I want to go. And it's an argument that when it's done, it's not going to satisfy anything. So don't have the argument. That becomes your filter. Because all kinds of stuff will be thrown into your space, thrown into your desk, right? Look at every hour as being your desk and your space to execute it. And there's all kinds of stuff that will be thrown into that space. And you want to filter it in terms of how does this relate to your goal? How does this relate to your dreams? Right? Be it financial, family, spiritual, physical, intellectual, you name it. Okay? So use some checklists, use daily planning, use project management methods to keep you organized. And I recommend you do mini projects. Mini projects allows you to have a very quick beginning and end so you have completions, and completions are important. And it allows you to with a great deal of more focus, to take micro steps to making progress and building momentum to those bigger picture dreams and bigger picture goals. And the key to this, though, to building your confidence is to celebrate every completed action and step that you've taken. This encourages yourself and it builds your confidence. If somebody wants to engage in an argument and you decline the invitation because you see it either will drag you and anchor you to your past, which will weigh you down, or it doesn't relate to something that lifts you up, or it's going to sabotage you condensing the course and taking actions now that are relevant to moving you forward. If you decline successfully that invitation, you celebrate that. That's an argument that you avoided that will not deposit negative energy into your space and also drain you of your positive life force, right? And I don't say those terms to sound super spiritual. I say those in a way to help you to understand in terms of the energy that we're putting out and we're taking in, all right? So quickly here, before we wrap up, 5 ways to strengthen your self-confidence every day. We just talked, the 7 steps we talked about is building your self-confidence, but there's certain things you can do every day to continuously strengthen your self-confidence. Not that what it is we talked about won't strengthen it as long as you're doing it every day. I just want to give you some things on top of that, all right? 1, identify what you're doing right in your life, okay? Listen, you already know what your shortcomings are, because if you're not reminding yourself, there's probably enough people around you that are reminding you what your shortcomings are, right? So what you want to do is focus on those things that you do well, okay? You want to know what you're doing right in your life. Every single one of us excel and succeed at certain tasks and activities. You want to seek those out for yourself and make a list of what you believe you're good at. Make a list of that, okay? No one in the world and I want you to keep this in mind, no one in the world has the same unique qualities and strengths that you do, that I do, that any of us do. So you want to be able to identify what yours are, not by relative comparison. I'm weak or strong compared to these people or these groups of people or this person. Not that. We're talking about you, your own inherent strengths that you feel as if they are born qualities that you're gifted with, or strengths and skills that you've built up over time through rigorous and continuous skill building and personal development of those professional personal skills. Okay? And also, what are you doing right? If you understand the answer to the question, what you're doing right, you're not going to be anything but confident, because it's like, hey, yeah, all hell is breaking loose. There's a lot of things that aren't working out too well, and there's a lot of things that seem to be going wrong, but look at what I'm doing right. I'm doing this right, and you can celebrate that. 2, make a list of your strong points. What character traits do you have that you offer to the people around you, to your company, to your business, to your employers, to your family, your friends, your inner circle, that's of great benefit to them, right? Are you the really patient type? You're kind and you're caring. You're the person that people come to, that they're able to lean on. We can get an understanding ear. I don't know what it is. Are you the person that makes them laugh all the time, that helps to lighten whatever load they may have in the moment? You want to identify your personality characteristics that you're proud of, that you may have overlooked. You may want to ask some people that what they like best about you. Don't ask them what they like, least about you. You don't want to scroll. Some people have a scroll of things they don't like, and they have like a Post-it note of the thing they do like. So just get that Post-it note and run with it, all right? Anyway, ponder your strong points, all right? Because knowing yourself is going to help enhance your confidence, a guy that's a comedian that goes on stage, or a woman that's a comedian that goes on stage, they're confident they can make everybody laugh. They're confident. They know they can make you laugh. So they go out there and they deliver their lines with confidence. Not that they're not afraid of people not laughing. They're confident that they can make people laugh, right? Number 3, every day in your life, I want you to notice something you're doing well. Like today, you're listening to this. I don't know if it's in the morning, the afternoon, in the evening, or whatever. I want you to notice. If it's early in the day, I want you to notice something you do well throughout the day and make a note of it in a journal, on a Post-it note, on a postcard, on something. If it's at the end of the day that you're listening to this, I want you to reflect on your day and notice something that you did well. If it's in the middle of the day, reflect real quickly on the early part of the day and see if there's something that you did well. And I don't care how small it is, okay? I don't care how small it is. And the reason why is because one small brick stacked on top of another small one, or rock, you name it, can build a tower. So don't look for the tower thing that you did right or you did well. Look for the small things, because you can take multiple small ones and multiply them. It's like taking small steps. You can take a giant leap or you can take a small step. Either way, if you're moving in the right direction with steps, you're going to end up in the same place. Maybe at different times, but in the same place. So right now, we want to make sure we're going in the right direction and we're moving in that direction. Maybe you cleaned up your car and it looks awesome. You're proud of yourself, right? Maybe you completed a report. Maybe you're running a business. Maybe you wrote something on your blog. Maybe you gave a really good Facebook update. I don't know, whatever it is. I think it's important that you recognize each day the time you do something right. Maybe you help your child, or you help somebody else's child, you help somebody through a difficult time. Maybe you made an extraordinary chocolate cake and you're proud of that. Maybe you're not proud that you ate half of the cake after you baked it, but you're proud of the fact that you made the cake. So what are we going to do? Are we going to get upset that we ate half the darn thing, or are we going to be happy that we made the cake? I know it's a lot easier to be like, oh my gosh, why did I eat half that chocolate cake? But hey, be happy you made the cake. And the reason why is because all these little things, when you acknowledge them, they add up to big self-confidence. Because if you can do little things right, you can do big things right. Little things may require a little understanding, but we don't want to discount them. Little lug nuts keep big tires on your car while you're rolling 70 plus miles an hour down the freeway. If you take off those little lug nuts, your wheels come rolling off, and that becomes a really big problem. Now, all of a sudden, they weren't that small, were they? And that's the same thing with this. They may seem to be small things, but they're not really small. We live in an environment where very small $10 domains house multi-billion-dollar companies. At least they're valued at multi-billion dollars, right? So don't discount the small, right? Because even the Bible says, he that's faithful in little things will be faithful in much. So be faithful and be honorable with those small things. Make a note of them, document them, journal them, capture them, because those small things will build big confidence in yourself and in your prospects and in your progress. All right, 2 more real quick before we wrap up. 4, celebrate your progress. You want to take notice of those good things that you've got going and you want to celebrate them, all right? When you've done one of those small things or you surpassed one of those bigger goals, celebrate it. Rejoice in your own success. Celebrate your, don't wait for the cheerleaders to show up and people to start popping out of cakes and anything like that. Don't wait for people to plan your surprise party. Did y'all plan a surprise party because it hit my goal, my weight loss goal, my financial goal, my whatever goal? No, you set your own plan. You conduct your own party, even by yourself. It doesn't matter. Don't wait for other people to show up and hold up the walls of the room at your party. Celebrate yourself. Okay? Because that gives you strength, and it's not wrong. Even the Bible, you can see if David was told to, God told David to encourage himself. And we can see in multiple places in the Bible where people encourage themselves. Why do we want to encourage ourselves? Because that will help breed confidence. David could have never taken out Goliath without confidence. Joshua and them could have never gone down to Jericho and done what they've done without confidence. Right? Now, when I talk about confidence, I do want to wrap this up with what I consider to be the ultimate confidence, but I guess I'll just drop this in right now since I'm mentioning these things. I think the greatest confidence you can ever have is not a confidence in self, it's a confidence in God. Okay? I believe we need to have confidence in what we can do, but an even greater confidence in what God can do, because what God can do can far surpass what any of us can do. I believe having a confidence in ourselves is not to slap God in the face with what he's given us. But having confidence in God, to me, is the greatest and ultimate honor and level of self-confidence. And that is a level of dependency and interdependence that we never want to lose. And to me, I believe if we have that confidence in God and we have that confidence in God's word, it becomes even easier to have a confidence in ourselves. Right? I mean, we're not talking about a life that's self-centered. We're not talking about a life that is selfish. We're not talking about a confidence that is arrogant or a confidence that is gaudy, if you will. We're not talking about a confidence that is looking to be worshipped. We're not talking about a confidence that is overbearing. We are talking about a confidence and a level of certainty that we can do what is required of us to perform at the level that we desire to perform, to make the contributions here that we are looking to make to the people we care about and to the destiny that we live for. Okay? And if that rubs people the wrong way, then hey, as the Bible says, as iron sharpens iron, so does one man sharpen the countenance of another man. Let them be sharpened by you rubbing them the wrong way. Right? And number 5, real quick, as we wrap up, be relentlessly optimistic. It's better to choose optimism as a daily approach to everything as opposed to pessimism. All right? Now, that doesn't mean we are turning a blind eye to the bad things that are going wrong, but when you make the decision to find the best in whatever life is bringing your way, your confidence tends to soar. It's as simple as that. I'm going to tell you right now, you don't even need to put this on your list, because I think we already know this. Pessimism weighs you down. Optimism lifts you up. And if we know that, and it's really that black and white and that clear, pessimism will weigh you down. Optimism will lift you up. Then I think it is in our best interest to be relentlessly optimistic every single day. Every single day, we should choose to be optimistic. Because if you ask me, I think that's free fuel, because optimism is just a choice. Remember I talk about that treasure hunter? Be a treasure hunter of optimism. What does that mean? That means you are out there proactively looking for the things that are positive in the midst of the things that seem to be not so positive. Listen, I thank you for listening to episode number 12 of the Success Sculpting Show, and I would love to hear back from you. You can call and give me a voicemail at 781-277-7469. Again, that voicemail number is 781-277-7469. I would love to know how this show or any previous shows have impacted you. If you have questions, you can give me those questions on the voicemail at 781-277-7469. I'll look to play your question on an upcoming episode, as well as answer your question on an upcoming episode. But I would love to hear your feedback. You're the reason why I continue to do these shows. Give me your feedback on the voicemail, or give me a feedback on the Success Sculpting blog. Just go over to successsculptingshow.com. You can get today's show notes, and you can also click on the show title, the show episode, and leave me a note so that I can understand what your thoughts are as it relates to the show. And by all means, become a Success Sculpting Insider. Every week, we are now transcribing these episodes. We are editing them into ebooks. And every week, as an insider, you will get a new, fully developed ebook from each episode of the show. In addition to that, once a month, I will be doing live video streaming group coaching that you will be able to participate in. And if you're not able to come to the show live, you will be able to get a replay of the show inside of the Insiders area. In addition to that, though, and this kicked butt, when you become a founding member of the Insiders, and that means you need to sign up before the end of this year, which is 2012, you will get the Premium Success Sculpting System. That includes 2 manuals that are over 100 pages each. One is my Mind Sculpting Manual, which is a must-have, which has over 100 pages of specific details. And the other is the 5-step advanced success system. Will help you tremendously, worksheets included. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. And I'm also including what I call the Success Integrator Audio. And what this is brain technology. You ever felt like you need some energy? Most people, they'll reach for an energy drink or reach for some sugar or something to give them energy. It's artificial energy, but yet it's energy, be it caffeine or whatever is in the different energy drinks. Well, everything you take impacts your nervous system, it impacts your brain, et cetera. And I don't want to go into being too technical, but let me just tell you this. We have a 20-minute audio that will set you ablaze with the energy, the focused energy to take action. I've been using these types of audios for going on a decade now, like 10 years now, and they are absolutely extraordinary. This one was custom designed specifically to help you be energized in any given moment to be able to get up and get the things done that you desire to get the things done without having to fight tiredness, without having to fight lethargy, without having to fight any type of resistors to your forward progress in action. That alone is worth your membership as an insider. An insider membership is just under $15 a month. You get a great deal of value. Go over to successsculpting.com/insiders. Or insiders. I don't know which one that is. Just try insider or insiders, or you can just click on the link that will be on the show notes and become an insider. It is absolutely extraordinary value, and I will be able to be the fuel on a continuous basis to help you to use whatever vehicle you pick to get to whatever destination you have decided. So with that, I want to thank you again for listening to episode number 12 of the Success Sculpting Show, and I will see you in episode 13.
Thanks for listening to the Success Sculpting Show with Stephen Pierce.
If you like what you just heard, we hope you'll pass along our web address.
SuccessSculptingShow.com to your friends and colleagues. Be sure to check out our archives of previous podcasts and check the schedule to join us for our next live streaming Success Sculpting Show webcast. This has been a Success Sculpting Incorporated production. Join us next time for another edition of the Success Sculpting Show with Stephen Pierce, and tell your friends.